Yo, we back again, and this time I think we're gonna do Rafa. I think Rafa's skills are pretty multifaceted. He's good with melee damage, he's good with AoE damage, he's good with mobbing damage. I don't really know too much about his bossing potential, but I think his lance ability can definitely be good with bossing. But we're going to be doing our top 3 builds. First, we're going to start off with the Arc Knives build, where we're mostly going to be double dipping into 2 different capstones. We can go into Hurricane Especial, and we also got Galvanic Panic, which I'm mostly going to be going for that one. Pretty much activating Blade Fury will create a singularity with Hurricane, and which will deal more shock damage to targets. So say you're surrounded by psychos or whatever the case may be, close range type of enemies, this skill will probably do you a lot to get rid of those mobs quicker. But I'm most likely going to be going with Galvanic Panic, which is going to be spawning gliders that go at enemies, increasing our corrosive splash damage to marked targets. I just think that's going to be better. As you can see, we also have some points in Peace Breaker cannons as well. So we're going to look at what we have here. So we have Handshake Deal, where we have more gun damage and melee damage. That's just going to help in general. Then we have more health capacity, meaning sure we stay up longer. If we're running at enemies doing melee attacks, we're going to be very close range, so we got to keep that health and that shield high. We also got freezing. We also got the kill skill in the zone, where killing an enemy can freeze our overdrive, which our overdrive is pretty much just increases in movement speed and damage from all sources. So pretty much we can freeze overdrive and keep it going as we kill enemies. So hey, that's just a good skill. And then we got to last, where we increase our gun damage and skill damage, and the lower our health is, the more the damage is. I'll just put this here, this is just 2 points, whatever the case may be. Then we got more splash damage and splash critical hit chance. And then we got, when Rafa deals splash damage, he gets bonus shock damage based on the damage dealt. So these 2 skills definitely help each other. And then on this side, we also have Rafa deals increased corrosive damage while his action skill is active, and the longer it has been active, the greater the bonuses. So now we get corrosive and we get shock damage, on top of getting increased splash damage and splash damage critical hit chance. And then we also get more action skill duration. And the only reason why I wanted to get these splash damage skills is because in our Peace Breaker cannons, not only do we get more damage, but we also get an overshield as well. Pretty much these skills can help us with our splash damage, but pretty much we're also going to be on top of that with our Arc Knives, dealing more melee splash damage and also doing more corrosive damage. So these 2 skills will definitely help increase in those fronts. In our Peace Breaker cannons, we got more gun damage, so when we're not using our Arc Knives, we get more damage. So when we're not using our Arc Knives, we get more just gun damage flat out. And then we also get, when we activate our action skill, to restore a portion of our shield. So say I'm taking some damage, my shield breaks, and then I activate my skill, I pretty much get my shield back pretty much. Or even if my shields are full, I just gain more shield. We also have 2 points in whenever Rafa critically hits an enemy, there's more action skill duration restored. And then I really wanted this skill, which is going to be damage reduction while overdrive is active. Pretty much, since we're going to be very close quarters with our Arc Knives, I kind of want to make sure that Rafa doesn't take as much damage as he's going to be being close range. So our next ability is going to be the Peace Breaker cannons, where we're mostly going to be kind of diverging out a little bit more. For our Peace Breaker cannons, we have, for our capstone, the Peace Breaker cannons now shoot a shock beam and corrosive beam, and whenever Rafa applies a status effect, he gains more action skill damage. So say we're just shooting an elemental weapon, pretty much our Peacebreaker cannons will deal more shock damage and corrosive damage on top of that. Not only that, I do have the augment Hell in a Shell, which pretty much throws 2 large fire bombs for a large area effect damage. So this is just even more static effect damage that we're going to be dealing. So all of these will most likely entangle within each other. So we got more gun damage. Whenever Rafa critically hits an enemy, we get more action skill duration back. So this just helps with our output even more. We got damage reduction. And then after that, I just pretty much went all around this side of the skill tree. I just thought it was all great. So we get more ordnance damage. We get bonus damage based on our element. Then we get a ricochet chance with a status effect. So this also helps with this. So say we're dealing more status effect damage with pain reaction. Then it will pretty much increase our capstone as well. Then on top of that, enemies damaged by Rafa's Peacebreaker cannons have an increased status effect chance, which that's just even more. So we get even more of a chance for them to be shock and corrosive damage. We have even more of a chance of shock and corrosive damage. And then I got concentrated build up. So when I'm aiming with the gun, Rafa deals bonus shock damage. Each time Rafa hits an enemy this way, it deals bonus damage until he zooms out. So that's, come on now, that's just even better. That's just even more shock damage. And then on top of that, and plus this also, this also doubles dips into our ricochet skill, our Peacebreaker skill, our critical hit skill, because say we're aiming down sights, so hitting critical hits. Then that also gets our action skill back up while also doing more damage on top of that. And then we got whenever Rafa inflicts a status effect on an enemy, he gains an increased action skill cooldown rate and improved action skill duration rate. So we just get more action skill duration, so we can keep our Peacebreaker cannons up even more. I do have 5 points into Arc Knives where we deal bonus corrosive damage now. So we do even more corrosive damage. And the Peacebreaker cannons skill tree is a lot of shock damage being done, so I wanted to increase that corrosive damage as well. And then in our Apophis Lance, we have 10 where we have an overdrive skill where we regenerate ammo when our overdrive is active, and on top of that we gain health regen when we activate our action skill. So we get our health, we keep our health up, we do status effect damages with shock and corrosive with our Peacebreaker cannons. And last but not least, I want to do my Apollo Rafa build, which I believe is going to be my personal. We're going to be going into the Apophis Lance skill tree, which is not a popular skill tree at all, but I believe it's pretty powerful when it comes to AoE damage. So we don't have a capstone. We're not going to do a capstone because I honestly don't want to change the properties of it. I want it to stay as its own. But we do have Engorged Boar, which is going to increase the projectile size, its speed, and the number of chains. So we're going to be mostly trying to do chain shock damage and chain our shots together, which is also going to help us with a couple of these skills in here. So we got an overdrive skill, which helps us regenerate ammo. We got the other skill, which is going to, when we activate our action skill, we gain increased health regeneration. I also got over here another kill skill where we kill an enemy, we gain ordnance cooldown rate, so we can get our ordnance back faster. But then whenever Rafa activates or re-triggers an action skill, his gun consumes no ammo. Most likely there's going to have to be a class mod that increases this, because 2 seconds is a little too less. But hey, say it's a charge shot, we're not going to consume ammo. Then we got another overdrive skill where Rafa gains increased gun damage while overdrive is active, and this effect doubles when Rafa is charging his Apophis Lance. So this just helps us in general when it comes to shooting from both hands. Then we have another overdrive skill where we gain more crit chance. And then we have, after sliding, Rafa's action skill deals bonus shock damage, and he deals increased critical hit damage as well. And then we have, whenever Rafa shocks an enemy, all shots fired at that enemy are critical hits. So if I keep the Apophis cannon in shock and I'm also shooting shock, all of my shots are going to critical hit at the same time. And then we also have Fiesta, which I believe is definitely the best skill on here. Whenever Rafa applies a status effect, his action skills consume no duration, and Apophis Lance consumes no charge. So as I said, if we're doing that shock damage, we're not going to consume a charge. We're going to do a bonus shock damage with our critical hits, and if I'm sliding, we get more bonus damage. On top of that, we get more crit chance. On top of that, we get more gun damage. This is just a good combination. We do have some more points over in Peacebreaker cannons where we get more gun damage. We also have, when we critical hit, we get more action skill duration, and we also have damage reduction. So this is pretty much our run and gunning build right here. I want to run and gun with this build. So as I said, Apophis Lance is probably going to be my go-to, and then probably secondary is probably going to be the Arc Knives. That seems fun. But if you guys like any of these builds, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you guys are going to do any tweaks. Let me know which skill you are more excited to use. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm excited to play Borderlands 4 with you guys, and peace out.